Vacation rental, all I've ever wanted. Vacation houses that I can stay in. Welcome to HowDoWeHuman. This is the podcast where we talk about all the weird and uncomfortable micro moments in life. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Binning.
And guess what? I'm one of your hosts, Evan Cox.
Did you guess right? Did you guys guess that he was one of the...
Quiz at the top and at the end of the episode.
That's right. A little quiz sandwich. That's what this podcast is. And the
what are we,
meat
Quiznos?
Whoa! End it right here. That's as good as this episode's gonna get. The meat of this Quiznos sandwich is gonna be about Airbnbs, VRBOs, the people who say VRBO instead of VRBO. We're going to talk about all that stuff. It's definitely VRBO because that's what they say in all their advertisements.
All right. Sold.
The thing that we've got to do before we get into the meat, let's throw a little lettuce and tomato on this bad boy.
Okay.
By which I mean, I got to ask my fellow co-host, Evan, how you doing?
Yeah. Proud to be the lettuce and tomato. Everyone's favorite part of every sandwich.
Yeah, the vegetables.
BLT, 2/3.
Yeah, I'm the mayo.
Ooh, I'll be the decider. You're the cheese and oil. Before we start recording, we're often talking about, like, what you been watching lately? Because we're thrilling young men who watch stuff.
And we are thrilling other young men. Am I right? Nothing's more thrilling than talking about sandwiches and which piece of the sandwich we are.
And that's thrilling to other young men.
Yeah.
Great.
That's what I'm saying.
Love that. We love to thrill. What else likes to thrill? The movies.
AC/DC.
AC/DC. Well, they shoot to thrill. You know, they don't always get
it's
there.
unclear their feelings on it.
That's what that song's about.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about, I haven't been to the movies in a long time. I haven't even really been watching much at home either, but I've watched a few movies recently, but I always watch at home ever since we moved up this mountain. I go down the mountain all the time, but for whatever reason, having that distance, it's just kind of a pain to drive, and having that distance to a movie has proven, like, I guess I'm just not gonna go, which sucks. I do, in spite of all those rowdy teenagers throwing popcorn. I love seeing a movie in theaters. And the other day, I need to preface by saying, like, genuinely, it easily has been over a year, maybe going on 2 years since I've been to a movie theater. That's fucked.
Do you remember the last feature film you watched on the big screen?
Oh, what was it? I did. I was just thinking about that the other day, and I did, and now I don't.
Is it Oppenheimer? I know you
Yeah,
saw
it's
that in
probably
theaters,
Oppenheimer.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. That is probably that at the TCL Chinese Theater. I mean, if that's going to be your last theater experience, like, oh, baby. Anyways, this story's already gone on too long. I'm here to say I had been thinking about it more and more. Like, I got to go. I got to get out and see a movie. And I'm like, we'd talked about it. I want to see that. I want to see all about that life of that guy named Chuck.
Right.
I want to see what Chuck's up to. I hear it's good. And you don't want too many spoilies. Go in knowing nothing. You'll have a good time. You'll laugh, you'll cry, etc. And I had a day where I was just here. I had nothing to do in the first half of the day. It was a weekend. I had something to do later in the day. I was just like, I'm just here by myself. I'm going to do an old Evan classic. I'm going to hit up a matinee.
Ooh.
Save the mun.
Olivia.
Recording. She said, huh? Where was I? Save the money.
You're saving the mun, Olivia.
Yes, she needs saving from that rapscallion John Mulaney. Yeah, 11. I think there was an 11:15 showing, and there was, it's not like it's the most popular movie in the world. There's not a bunch of showings. There was one at 11:15, and then one at like 6:30, which was too late. I had plans, so I'm like, let's go. And I hop in the car, and I'm excited because it's a last second decision of just like, yeah. It's so rare nowadays. Like, I would do that living in Seattle because it was so walkable that it's just like, yeah, fuck yeah, I could walk outside and be in like downtown Seattle in 10 or 15 minutes. I don't do that at all anymore. There's very little place for me to go. And so I start driving, and I'm genuinely excited. I cannot wait. And I get all the way. You've done that the long and winding road down this mountain. Takes about half hour plus if there's traffic. And I'm driving for a half hour. I get to the bottom of the mountain. All of a sudden, traffic's being real weird. A lot of cars pulling off to the side and parking over there. And then traffic just kind of stops. And I'm like, this feels off. Nothing was coming up. I pulled up a Google map. Nothing's coming up to say anything's wrong. So I was sitting there for a while. I was sitting there until it was like, well, I'm not going to be able to go see this movie. There was a tiny little fire. They shut down the freeway. Completely shut it down. Turned everyone around. And that's what I get for trying to see a movie for the first time in almost 2 years. And I didn't, and I still haven't been. And I was so sad.
Yeah.
That day ended up sucking.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. That's also a movie that I would like to see. Also, as I've mentioned to you, on my YouTube channel, I've been experimenting with taking different trailers and mashing other movies or TV shows into those styles. And when you said The Life of Chuck, I was like, God damn it, I should have done a Charlie Brown one for that. I blew it.
I was thinking the TV show. I was thinking of Adam Sandler as Fred Flintstone. I was thinking of the TV show Chuck. Whew. Yeah. Anyways, whatever. That sucked. Cheese and oil. And mayonnaise. Yeah, that's me. Chris, how you doing?
I put the man in mayonnaise.
Ooh. Right? Yeah. I put the nays.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I was preparing to go on 2 vacations, which we'll talk about in the meat of the episode, but this is cheese and oil time. And I was like, I'm going to be needing to pack some toiletries. They've obviously got to be little tiny ones because they've got to go on the airplane in my carry-on.
Certainly.
And I go to get just like travel size body wash.
For your travel size body.
Yeah. And I don't know if this has ever happened to you.
Oh, brother.
But I go to get my little body wash and I'm like, how does this smell? Because this isn't normally the body wash I purchased. So let me pop open the cap. Popped it open. Let me get a whiff of this bad boy. I don't know if this is what you're supposed to do or if this is just how I learned it and I learned wrong. But when you're sniffing something like that, I always learned you got to try and get it up to the top of the bottles. You might have to just squeeze a tiny bit to raise it.
I feel like I see where this is going.
I give this a little squeeze, and it explodes a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I just get a nose covered in body wash in the middle of the grocery store aisle. Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I immediately close it, put it back. Then I guess I just kind of have to rub it in. Like, I'm not going to walk around with this goop all over my nose.
No, you don't want to be a goop guy.
No, I am definitely not a goop guy.
No. Gwyneth, you listening?
Gwyneth, I'm sorry, this is how you have to find out. But I am not a goop guy.
No.
But yeah, that's basically my story. Is uncomfortably, I got a face full of soap.
That's very funny to me. It sounds like, unless you're skipping over this, there was the saving grace that this body wash was not locked up.
Yes, and that's exactly why I went to this store. Is because
that would have been funnier with an employee standing right there next to you.
Absolutely. I can't or I've been on the run, as it were, trying to escape stores that lock up their toiletries. I had one for a long time, and then like last month they started locking those up too. So
bastards.
I've found another one, and I'm really hoping to survive this unlawful imprisonment of toiletry items.
All you can do is move to a less big city. That's all that can be done.
Yeah, it's true.
It does beg the question, and then we'll get to the meat. Yeah, you know. But you love all these other lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise are mingling.
Yeah.
Are you mad about that? It begs the question, because I know the answer for me. Do you also feel this way when an item is locked up? Let's specifically stick to this lane. It's body wash, and you're like, oh, because this happened to me recently where the brand I get, it's like a newer brand, not Harry's, but one of those. One of those that advertise on other podcasts.
Yeah.
And
Dr. Squatch?
Exactly. Not Dr. Squatch. I can't remember the name of it, but I flipped it open, gave it a smell. I've never had the inclination to squeeze the bottle. So
yeah, and like, hey, I'm not squeezing it as hard as I can. I'm just trying to get the thing producing the aroma just a little bit closer to the top.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I'd smelled one that I thought was really great, and then the next time I went to pick it up, that brand just had different scents, and they don't seem to make that one anymore. I'm like, why did I waste my fucking time smelling your product?
Limited time offer.
So I found myself in a situation where I too was going to have to start sniffing. But when items are locked up, is there any world where you would have the 80% confidence
your nose up to the glass?
Where you would have the 80% confidence to ask an employee to unlock a thing and then stand there for a while smelling? It's like, no, I don't know if anybody would. I mean,
of course not.
Some people probably would, but yeah, that sucks. I hate that idea. Unlock these.
Let my toiletries go.
Yeah. And let me go to your toilets.
Yeah, and your toilets might be in AirBnB, VRBO, vacation rentals. I'm sure there are other companies, but those are the only two I can think of.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm forgetting. I'll look this up now. There was one. I don't know why I'm looking it up on my phone, so I'm like turning away from the microphone. I am at a computer. There was one other one that I'd used. Airbnb alternatives. VRBO, homestay, couch surfing. That's a classic. Hip camp. Oh, that's more camping. Looks like right now, like everybody's jumped on board. Booking.com has rentals. Expedia has rentals. Hotels.com. glamping hub. So a lot of these are camping, but yeah, it seems like one of those industries everyone's trying to compete, and
Yeah.
VRBO's the only one that's been able to. I had written off Airbnb entirely because they got so ridiculously expensive. And then they changed it, so now the price you see is all inclusive. There's nothing added to it, and it feels like that price
Yeah.
went way the fuck down. Probably because everyone stopped using Airbnb because it was ridiculous. So I am back. I stayed at an ABB recently.
A house, an apartment. What were your accommodations?
This is something I wanted to talk about. I do want to hear about your recent trip, but this was my recent
Yeah.
snorkel trip to La Jolla. And so in the past, early Airbnb days, I feel like it was always a house. You were staying in someone's house. This was like an apartment in an apartment complex, but it's not like some person subletting it. It's like the ownership group. It's just like, yeah, no one lives here right now. Come stay in this apartment. Like, hey, it's a good idea to make money, but it felt odd.
Yeah.
Going and staying in a place and suddenly having like neighbors again. I got
Mm-hmm.
used to not having those. Weird. I don't know. How you feel? You prefer a house or do you give a shit?
Um, I've never. Well, I guess that's not true. I stayed one time in a like rental apartment unit when I went to Peru, but I think every other time it's been a house.
Yeah.
But also, and this is a crucial detail, is I'm never the one booking it. So I don't
Yeah.
really care what I guess. It's always being taken care of by someone else I'm traveling with.
That's often the case with me too. I book hotels. I don't know how
Sure.
this has worked out. I book all the hotels. Jocelyn books all the Airbnbs or whatever. But if it's a hotel, that's going through me. I got
Yeah.
those Expedia points.
Nice.
Maybe that is how it worked out. I can save like $2 off a $500 stay.
Yeah. It is nice to, I think only once has it been with a smaller group, but usually when I stay in these places it's because we're a large group
Mm-hmm.
and all want to stay together as opposed to a bunch of different hotel rooms.
Like the commercial.
Um, yeah, and I do. Oh man, uh, I don't love some of these commercials for these
Oh,
vacation rentals.
really just the Airbnb commercials. I hate them, and I'm told I shouldn't. The design's cool, and it's like calm versus other ads, which are like I find it real
What are you?
unappealing. Where
What's going on with these Airbnb ads? I feel like the VRBO ads are the ones that I get more often.
so the Airbnb ads, it's a white screen, and just in the center, like a little diorama pops out with like weird cartoon characters, like three-dimensional cartoon characters with just like two dots for eyes. And weird
Okay.
faces, and I find their faces off-putting and the way that they move off-putting. And then it'll just be like a whole family realizing they don't have space in this hotel room, or a bridal party, but like, why is everybody staying at different places? We came to hang out. And then it goes, but it's all done with like a fucking oboe or a clarinet doing just like a
Oh
single
yeah.
oboe
Okay, I
going.
have seen these. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do not like it. It's irrational. I
I do now know
recognize.
what you're talking about.
Don't care for it.
The VRBO commercials that I used to get, and I think that they've changed and moved away from this ad campaign, but it used to be very like overly like pleading, sentimental,
Oh,
um
oh yes,
where
I
it
have gotten
used
some of
to be
these.
like there's nothing more important than just you and your people staying together, making memories. And all while this like soft, like sad piano music plays. I really did not. I don't respond well to ads like that are
Your
like
whole everyone you know is gonna die one day.
Yeah,
That might be tomorrow.
but also
wouldn't you rather be all together tomorrow?
Yeah, and it's that combined with the like with those phrases that I find a little cringier, like your people, your fellow humans.
Oh, how
It
nice.
really, I don't know what it is, but it really bugs me when people are like, "What? Here's my favorite human," or whatever. Like, shut up. I don't care for that at all.
This is a
But that
triggering
was a
thing
big
for
part
an
of
old job I worked at. One of the radio hosts, who's, hey, this'll give it away a little bit if you have any idea who this fucking is. But their little catchphrase was, "Hello, beautiful humans." No, not okay.
Yeah, I don't like that. And I know that it's weird for us to harp on that when our podcast is called How Do We Human, but
Exactly.
there's just something about that phrase that really rubs me the wrong way and I don't understand it.
No.
But the other Airbnb advertisement is they've started advertising on podcasts a lot more, where at least some of the podcasts I listen to, where the podcast hosts are like, your home might be worth more than you think because you can rent it out to different people. And maybe it's just that like I am perhaps just always going to be a renter based on the economic state of our times, that kind of grinds on me a little bit, that it's usually like celebrity podcasts that are like, hey, your house might be worth even more than you think. Like,
This
come
until
on.
you specifically mentioned that, I forgot. I did just have to place an Airbnb ad in one of the pseudo celebrity podcasts I work on. And yeah, didn't feel good. Because it is just from like an economic or anti-capitalist standpoint of just like, if I can own a home, why are you selling me the idea that I'm not going to be able to afford to just fucking live there? Like, you're going to want a lot of extra money because you're poor, so you have to rent out that house that you got. Like, fuck off. I don't like this being, because it'll probably also come with a little oboe going that makes me feel like, oh, this is normal. Great.
Yeah.
I should have to use my car to drive other people around so that I can buy groceries. Fuck you. Capitalism. I don't know who I'm mad at anymore. I'm just mad.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good one, though. So I did go on 2 trips, and on both of them, I stayed in Airbnbs.
Wow.
One was in Indiana. One of my wife's cousins was getting married. And for my wife's and I, for our wedding, her cousins all stayed in an Airbnb out in Pasadena, and all really liked that, all liked being together, hanging out. And so when this cousin was getting married, my wife's aunt was like, I want to put up all the cousins in an Airbnb, so that they can have that same experience for my baby boy's wedding.
Yeah.
And so we are put up in this house, and look, both of these Airbnbs that I'm about to talk about, these houses cost over $1 million.
They're expensive to rent, but it is quite an experience.
Yeah. And for the number of people that were staying there, it wasn't like we were paying for just one person to stay in this $1 million house.
Yeah.
Anyway, this house in Indianapolis, or just outside of Indianapolis, had a lot of extra rules and weird things going on.
I
and
found the bigger the house, the more rules.
Yeah, but this one had like extra rules that were a little confusing. And I guess I don't know the full story because, again, I did not book it. But the bits and pieces that I did hear were this person who owns and is renting out the house has had some different problems with the law.
Don't bring attention to me.
Is someone who I've heard that they had a problem with meth, and maybe that's true, maybe that's not. I also heard that they were scamming people on Airbnb or a site like it, and had enough lawsuits that they were banned from renting in like the neighboring county or something like that.
Wow.
And when my wife's aunt booked this one, the person convinced them to do it through just them and off of Airbnb. Now, this seems like it might be a red flag. I don't know if there was a discount involved in doing it off Airbnb, but the thing about Airbnb is there's like at least a tiny bit of protection from, or at least a record or some like you can report some different behavior, whatever. But she was convinced by this person to do it off of Airbnb and just do it person to person.
Meet in a parking lot, exchange cash.
Yeah, and this person, I presumably because it was done off of Airbnb, may have added some of these extra rules.
Yeah.
But it was like the whole point of having this other house was to have like a big hangout meetup place, even for the people not staying there.
Yeah.
But that was like banned, I guess, where like only the people staying there can be in the house.
Yeah.
And I have cameras, so I'll know if you bring other people into the house. And it's just, I don't know, it's just weird things like that where like you can only do specific things on this property, and not like normal rental rules, but like extra things like that where like if somebody, like I have cameras watching the doors, so I'll know if extra people are there. I don't want other people in the house, so even if you're having something delivered, like do it on the curb or things like that. It's like, what the hell's going on here? But also, and this is going to be true of the other place I stayed, which was in Park City, Utah. $1 million homes.
Yeah.
Over $1 million. The worst ventilation you have ever experienced.
Oh no.
Indianapolis, it's pushing 100 degrees and it's humid. And the bedrooms don't have vents in them. So like only the living room is getting AC. Or like only like none of the bedrooms have any ventilation. Same thing in Park City. Less hot, but still like no ventilation or much air conditioning. Weird. If you just in general, and this is Airbnb aside, if you have $1 million home, why aren't you building things right? You know, what are you doing?
I don't know. Maybe that's why they don't live there.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it
That
because.
was
Oh,
that.
sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that was a thing we ran into looking for a place in La Jolla. And beach towns will do this often, where it's just like none of the places have AC. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not 100 degrees there on the ocean. It was like 85. AC'd be nice. We finally found a place with AC,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like that is, yeah, I don't know, businesses or landlord types, or exactly landlords, just cheaping out. Okay, if we can get someone to stay in this nice place and not pay to cool the whole thing,
Right.
saving money.
That's probably true because I think, I mean, when we were in Park City, in an Airbnb with my family, although I think this was through VRBO, I think Airbnb just like is sort of the name
Yeah,
brand where like even like they're the
Kleenex.
Kleenex of I like that that's our go-to
I was then
example.
I was gonna go to Band-Aid after that if no one understood.
I was gonna go to Post It.
Ah,
So two different ones.
okay.
But anyways, uh, when we were in Park City, there are a lot of open houses. There are a lot of things for sale, and so just for fun, my wife, my cousin, and my cousin's boyfriend just kind of wandered into some open houses just to like see how the other half lives. You know what I
Can
mean?
be kind of fun.
And there is a level of awkwardness involved in that because they see us walk in,
Yeah,
they're like, these people aren't gonna buy anything.
yeah.
Um, but every single one we went to, it was like the information about the property, and then had specific like a big thing that's like, yeah, everybody, if you buy this, like you're just gonna rent it out. You're just gonna put it up and
Hmm.
make money that way. It's like this. I know that
Interesting.
kind of where you live is sort of known a little bit for being surrounded by Airbnb
Yes.
rental properties like that, but to see it so blatant of like, hey, I know
Yo.
you're gonna want to spend $2.8 million and make $100,000 a year off of it. It's
Yeah.
like, what if I
What if,
just want a place to live, please?
the other thing people buy houses for?
Yeah,
That's upsetting. I don't
yeah,
like that at all. The other thing you mentioned that I don't like at all when it comes to an Airbnb, again, using it as the tissue. I'm using Airbnb like a Kleenex. Cameras everywhere. Like,
sure,
I don't think that's okay. That needs to be listed in the post. If I'm not doing anything crazy, but if I'm going on vacation and then it's like, oh, there's nanny cams everywhere, and the owner of this place could, they're not, but they could be just sitting in their basement watching everything I do like a TV show.
yeah.
That's where my mind goes, and I'm like, no, fuck that. Camera at the door, fine. Ring
Mm-hmm.
camera, no worries. I don't, I don't dig it.
Yeah, I do also remember some of the, I think the like Verbo ads being like, the people who own the property won't be there if you stay here. And I've never stayed somewhere where the like person who owns it is also there. I know that that's, some people rent out a room or whatever, or
I have
but
had
really
this happen.
my only experience with that concept is the episode of New Girl where they turn the apartment into like an
Right.
Airbnb bed and breakfast thing. Um, I didn't realize that was like a thing that was actually that people were actually doing. So,
It's true.
um, I the closest thing to that was when we were in Bali, like the property manager and his son or something would come and like do like yard work and cleaning stuff every day, but that was it. I don't know, just the thought that someone could be there. And so there's also like, you see videos on social media and you're like, how much of these are staged? But like,
Yeah.
Somebody opens a door and there's the property owner in his secret little room, just like lurking nearby. It's like,
ridiculous.
I don't know. I don't know about this.
We did the first time Jocelyn and I went on a trip together. We got an Airbnb, which was basically, so it was a farm. There's a house where they lived. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we've done this twice. House, people live there, and then they just have some property. And in that case, it was kind of like almost like the size of a storage container, those little storage container houses. It wasn't that, but same idea, just made out of wood, like a little shed with a bed, a shed and a bed, if you will. And it was nice. It was a cool spot. It did just feel weird. It's just a different vibe when you're out and you're on your own. Even at this last place where it's like, oh, we've got neighbors. That is different because they don't know who I am and that I'm here and I'm not renting from those neighbors. When you're renting a space from a person and they're there, like you're saying, doing yard work or whatever, it's a very different vibe for me.
Yeah.
Not my type. I can't stop saying it. But this did segue. This segued me. That first trip, actually, it was an anniversary, I want to say. So our first anniversary, probably. And we had mentioned that in the Airbnb, just like, because whenever you book one, I know you're not always booking one, but when you book them, there is like, you send a message when you send in your request. So some people are picky about who ends up there. So you got to sound nice and be like, oh yeah, this is why we're going there. So you don't sound like, I don't know, drug dealers
Sure.
looking for a place to crouch. So yeah, threw that out. And then when we got there, there's a little basket with like chocolates in it and a balloon that said happy anniversary. And I was like, oh, nice. So this past trip was for our 5-year anniversary, which technically is today, but we celebrated it early. Happy anniversary to us. And we've put that in the message being like, hey, you never know. Nothing. And it felt really bad.
It's tough when somebody goes out of their way to like do something nice like that, and then nobody else does because they don't have to,
Yeah.
Like I remember ordering something from Etsy once, and the person had also put just like random little like candies into the package, and so you open up, you get your thing, and you're like, and I get candy. Or there's a restaurant that I've ordered from a couple times that just throws in like a pack of gummy bears just like for free with your order. Love it. But it is a disappointment then when you order something else from another seller on Etsy or from another restaurant and you don't get anything extra. Like, man, wow. But this random stranger cared about me before.
You're also a random stranger. Think about that. I got one more a stupid little story I have to tell about this last trip at an Airbnb. So this, again, was like an apartment complex. First off, multiple sets of stairs up. This is the second time we've had this happen, and it sucks when you're just like, every time you're coming back, you got to climb up. There's, oh yeah, sorry, no elevator, 3 flights of stairs. Oh, get our steps in. But so we're at the top and we're on the corner, and outside of where we're staying is the rooftop. Okay, they got some lounge chairs out there, tables. It's a public space. So we're like, nice. And it didn't seem like people were really using it much. But I used it in the morning. I would just go read out there or whatever. And so when I was out there by myself, I saw a little sign on the door, not on the door, on the wall of outside our place. And it said, guest hour, 8 p.m. I'm like, oh, what's guest hour? I mentioned it to Jocelyn. Like, it sounds like they have like a, hey, everybody get together out on the roof and have a drink or whatever. I'm like, sounds kind of fun. Should we? And so all day I'm talking about guest hour. Like, which is so not like me. Guest hour sounds terrible. Why would I want to be a guest hour? But I'm like, yeah, I'm on vacation. I don't know. I was feeling fun. Let's meet some people, have some drinks, hang out on the roof. And like, as we were coming home from like getting something at the store, I pointed out the sign and someone's like, you mean quiet hour? I'm like, from a distance, from where I was sitting, I swear it looked like it said guest hour. When you get closer to it, clearly, yes, it is quiet hour, meaning nobody is going to be gathering on the roof. I just felt like an idiot. I spent a lot of our trip talking up guest hour and how much fun it was going to be. Never again.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm smart.
I think we've maybe talked about this a little bit in other episodes, but another little part of staying in these places, is how other people furnish their homes and the choices that they make. In this Park City VRBO that we stayed in, my family was definitely like, now why would they have put this here? Why would you put this outlet this high up on the wall? Why would you there was some like wood like columns. Why would you pick this piece of wood that has like this gigantic burn mark in it? Why would you have this gigantic buffalo head mounted on the wall? In the Indianapolis one, it's like, why would you why does this one bedroom have like 6 beds in it, like of all different sizes? Like, how many people are you trying to fit in here? Why do you have this life-size plastic figure of Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles? Like, what are these people doing?
Oh, that's amazing. I don't know. But yeah, it is. That is different because when it's an apartment complex, it's just like there's no
there's the standard.
It's just standard room.
Right.
But yeah, when you're in a house, I stayed with Jocelyn's family in a VRBO. I've been talking a lot about Airbnb in a VRBO in Templeton 2 years ago, maybe. And I was sleeping on the couch in this, like, I guess I'd call it a TV room. And yeah, it was just like, there's books and photos everywhere. It's like, I'm not going to look at all your photos and try to figure out who you are. I'm like, I'm interested. I don't know. I'm interested in strangers. He was a duck hunter. That's what I
learned. There was one of the open houses we went in had a sauna in it, but it was on the second floor. And as soon as you walk out of the sauna, it's all carpet. I don't know. It's just like, why would you do this? Yeah.
That's not. Nope. don't like that, and don't want to live.
Why would I
below
pay
the
$2.5 million for a sauna surrounded by carpet?
I don't know. But the nice thing is, we'll never have that much money to worry about.
Yeah, we'll never have to really make those decisions.
No.
And if we do end up with that much money, that place will then be worth $6.3 million. And so it still won't matter.
No, it'll be a fake out. You're a millionaire, but now that's poor.
Yep.
You're poor now. Speaking of the, giving money here, taking money there, making money, spending money. It's what it's all about. It's what makes the world go round. And that also goes for Airbnbs. And we got hit at this last place with a little note that surprised me. And maybe I'm thinking about this the wrong way. I don't know. But, you stay at an Airbnb, and there's always going to be like, like you're saying, a list of rules, a laminated sheet of like where the trash is, where laundry is, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you clean up after yourself sort of situation, do the dishes, whatever.
Right.
Just clean up your shit. But this place had a maid service on top of that, which I'm like, okay, if that's how you want to go about it, that's fine. But it's also clean up after yourself. So I did the dishes, I cleaned up, and there's just a little note asking us to tip their maid service. I'm like, isn't that on you?
Feels like it. But
I did all the other stuff. I did all the stuff you asked of me. You don't have to hire a maid service.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just pay them more. I don't know.
I
did, for the record. I did tip them.
But it's tough because, like, also at a hotel, like, you're supposed to tip the housekeeping staff, but even though you, in theory, have at least not left the place a complete mess, like
no, but I've thrown all my towels in the tub, or the bedding is a mess or whatever. Like, there's stuff that's gonna have to happen in there. I'm not doing dishes.
It is a weird.
It's different thing when there's a list of rules. Like, a hotel doesn't have a list of rules that's like, clean up after yourself. I just do because I'm the fucking best.
Yeah, you know what? I think that is part of where I'm bumping, is you and I are both just used to being exceptional hotel guests.
Total good boys.
Yeah. Total good boys, package. Thrilling young men. Am I right? That's us.
That's AC/DC's follow-up album to Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Thrilling boys. I've already forgotten it. Thrilling. Yeah, who cares? Who gives
Total good boys, thrilling young men.
Total good boys and thrilling young
men. Speaking of thrilling, Evan, we are gonna have to take a quiz, and I'll get to all our little plugs for this show in a second, but I just want to get you in the headspace that you are 16 points away from victory.
Oh my god.
We're only you can get a maximum of 5 today, but just to get you in that headspace of, you are getting closer and closer to winning.
I love that.
And you have a 4-point lead on me. So
it's close.
You're in a pretty good spot. And speaking of being in a good spot, that could be you, listener, if you subscribe and follow all of the places that we have this podcast: Spotify, Amazon Music, Pocket Cast, HowDoWeHuman, all those places and more. You can also check us out on our social media: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, at HowDoWeHuman, or send us an email to howdowehumanpod@gmail.com.
We got that email.
And now, in our race to 100 points, the score currently 84-80 in favor of Evan. I, of course, won the first race to 100 points, and it sure does look like Evan will win the second, which will mean we'll have to do a third race to 100 points.
Don't count yourself out.
How confident are you feeling today, Evan?
50-50.
Great. Question number 1. What is the lightest metal under standard conditions? Magnesium, lithium, potassium, or aluminum?
Interesting. I've got a guess. So I'm just going to lock it
in. I'm also going to lock mine in, but I think it doesn't make a lot of sense to me that this is my first thought, best thought, but it is what I'm going with.
All right. Let's see. I'm going lithium.
I'm going aluminum.
Okay.
Lithium was correct, Evan.
What was the last state to join the U.S. of A? Arizona, Nevada, Hawaii, or New Mexico?
I think I know this.
I think I do. So I'm just going to lock that answer in. I'm going to say Hawaii.
Okay. Yeah, I'm also saying Hawaii. And that is correct.
Oahu?
No, it's Oahu. Yeah. Question number 3. How many surfaces does a Mobius strip have? And I don't know that I pronounced that right.
Well, I liked the attempt.
2, infinite, 3, or 1?
Man, this is a thing I've heard of, and I'm realizing I don't actually think I know what that is.
I've definitely never heard of this. I've heard of Morbius. Is that the same thing?
Yes, it's Morbius stripping.
Well, it's Morbid time.
How many surfaces does he strip on? And I feel like the answer is infinite. Crisis on Infinite stripper poles. I'm just going to say infinite. I have no fucking clue.
I have no clue either. I'm picking 3.
Oof, he censored himself.
The answer was 1.
That's far off from my guess.
It is pretty far off.
A Scottish mountain must be at least how many feet high to be called a Munro? Who could fucking say? 2,000, 1,000, 3,000, or 5,000?
Look, this is unfair to me because I'm going to Scotland in a week and a half. And so if we had just taken this quiz a little later, I would maybe have a bit more of an advantage.
That comes up when you
I have my answer.
I think there's a little delay. I was going to say that comes up when you land in Scotland. Instead of people holding signs with your name on it, they're just holding up signs with facts. This has got to be one of them. I don't know how many facts they can have.
Yeah, how many facts could one country have? We don't know.
I'm going to say 2,000.
I'm saying 3,000 because I answered 3 on the last one. It was 3,000!
As soon as I locked it in, I'm like, that feels low. Whatever.
Okay, Evan. Question number 5. How many wings does a bee have? 8, 4, 6, or 2?
Well, if you by bee, you mean buffalo, like Buffalo Wild Wings. They have infinite wings.
Yeah, I think that there is actually a finite number of wings that
I would love to go
a single location of Buffalo Wild Wings could have.
Try to find the end. Maybe that's an episode. I'm not 100% on this, and I'm going to say 4.
That's also what I'm saying. I think they have 2 big wings. And then I think they have 2 little small wings. So that's how I'm getting to 4. Because it does in my mind, feel like they have 2, but it feels
Right.
like that's such a dumb question for it to be 2. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We're not going to have a quiz that's like, how many legs does a dog have? Like,
literally the example I was going to use. And then I was like, some dogs have 3.
It's true.
It would be
but
inappropriate.
That's not the standard. I'm sure some bees have different numbers of wings.
Okay.
But we're both saying 4. 4 was correct. We both walk away with 3 out of 5. Which doesn't change our point differential, of course, but it does mean that the score is now 83 to 87.
Man.
Still in favor of Evan Cox.
My kind of favor. This episode, I just realized, is coming out July 7th, after the very 4th of July this America celebrates.
Yeah, you feeling patriotic these days?
But it is a time to stay at an Airbnb, I guess. And to that, I say Airbnb.
Airbnb.
Airbnb.